Hi, this is Tom Hoskins for Mining Journal. I'm here with Shawn Wallace, who's the CEO and chair of Torq Resources, which is a Vancouver-based copper and gold exploration company with a portfolio of premium holdings in Chile. Hi, Shawn. How's it going today?
It's going very well, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. So, Shawn, Torq recently started work on a project called Santa Cecilia that garnered a $15 million investment from Gold Fields. Can you give us an update of what's going on there, please?
Sure. Yeah, no, we have just recently began our inaugural drill program, following up on a discovery made by the underlying owner. He had drilled 925 meters of almost 0.5% copper equivalent. So we were very excited to acquire this project, achieve the social license so that we begin work, get all our permits in place. So what you're seeing now for us, a very exciting moment for our company. It's the culmination of several years preparatory work. And now we get to go out and do what we came to do, which is try and discover a major new gold copper porphyry deposit on the Maricunga belt in Chile.
Okay, and there's a significant backstory to Santa Cecilia. Can you maybe elaborate on the historical discoveries that were made there?
Yeah, so the underlying owner was one of the pioneers, if you will, of these big, massive deposits that you see now owned by all the who's who names of the largest mining companies in the world. And the gentleman had acquired the Santa Cecilia as well. It had originally been explored for high-grade gold because that's what was happening at the El Indio belt back in the 88-90 range. There was a major mining company, Goldfield, Anglo Gold was there, and they did some surface work looking for these high-grade epithermal gold deposits that everybody was enjoying so much success with at the time. But what they failed to recognize, and I wouldn't call it a failure, it's just they didn't have the wherewithal to look for it, was that underlying these were these massive porphyry deposits. So they did the work they did, and then they gave the project back to the underlying owner because yes, they found a bunch of gold, but at 1988 gold prices, it wasn't significant. Again, and the company had better, more fruitful trees to pick, if you will, at that time. And so fast forward now to 2012, the underlying owner, having had the benefit of watching just adjacent to our project, the Caspiche deposit and the Santa Cecilia massive porphyry deposits totaling some 50 million ounces of gold, 16 billion pounds of copper that sort of surround our project. It was like, okay, there's porphyries could be there. So he drilled a couple drill holes that he self-funded in 2012 and came up with this 925-meter intercept that, of course, had us so intrigued. And as you mentioned, Gold Fields indeed also through their investment is participating. Their investment in our company and the equity of our company is participating in this as well. So we're getting drilling now. It's a fantastic story. It's a discovery that's sort of, if you will, been frozen in time since the 80s, and then again in 2012. And an interesting story that the underlying owner didn't really want to deal the project until just recently. We were fortunate enough to have attracted to earn enough credibility with him that we were able to make the acquisition.
Okay, that's very interesting, Shawn. Just touching on what you said about Caspiche and Santa Cecilia, of course, those deposits are held by Newmont and Barrick. They're a big deal. How were you able to option this project when other bids for it were turned down?
Well, frankly, I think the secret to our ability to do it was the underlying owner, I guess, and I don't want to speak for him, obviously, but what I assume is that, when major mining companies wanted this, but they kind of moved slowly. And the gentleman underlying owner, he wanted aggressive, young, junior sort of, we live or die based on whether we explore or not. So we can't just mothball something, make the payments. Like we live or die by going out and finding metal. That's what we do. We don't have 10 other mines that are providing earnings that can give value for our shareholders. We deliver value for our shareholders by finding metal. And so that orients us very nicely with what the underlying owner wanted to see happen with this project, which is an aggressive group. We go out and do a science-based sort of approach to exploring the project. And so there's good synergy. The other reason I think that helped expedite this for us was the fact that we sort of joined forces with a full suite of Chilean professionals. So our company really is, we're located here in Vancouver, but our company, the most important parts of it are run right out of Santiago. And Walter Quadra, our team, the Chilean team down there are second to none. I've explored all over the world, and often you have to parachute all of these Canadians into these other countries, and it's very expensive and it's difficult. And then they've got to try to integrate with the culture. Although the Chilean culture is very integratable for Canadians, but it's been so fantastic to not have to pay for all those flights, have people away from home. Chileans are working in Chile, and I think for our company, that's working extremely well.
Of course, makes sense. So let's just move on from there. Last year, you made a greenfield copper gold discovery at your Margarita project. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Yeah, so we went down to Margarita. Was a fantastic exploration opportunity, but we really viewed it as one that would have the odds that these things typically do, which were low chance of making a big discovery. So at Santa Cecilia, the discovery is already made with Mario's drill hole, but here at Margarita, there were no drill holes in the project whatsoever. There was just a copper oxide sort of resource off to the side, and we weren't interested in that. But what we were interested, what intrigued us was, well, where did that oxide source come from? There had to be an epithermal, like a source to this particular deposit. So that's what we went looking for, and it was a bit of a tricky thing. It's an IOCG, iron oxide copper gold project. So we did all our surface work with geochem looking for copper. But what we didn't realize, and we only realized through luck, I think, and through our first drilling campaign, was that this particular IOCG is not typical in that the gold grades are very high. You're seeing in a lot of our drill intercepts, 0.8, 0.9 gold grams per ton over significant widths, accompanied with 0.6 to 1% copper as well. Usually you'd expect those copper grades, but coupled with like a 0.15 gold per gram grade, not 0.9 or 1 gram. So we've had to, so we made this discovery, and then we had a subsequent drill program to see if this one drill hole that we had the success with, we could, put some size on this discovery. And we've now traced it over about 800 meters, and it's still wide open. So that's going to set us up very nicely to go in for a subsequent drill program. We've also completely redone all the surface work, and now using gold as the pathfinder, because not to bore you too much with the science of it, but copper leaches at surface. It's more mobile, whereas gold doesn't move around as much. So if you find the gold, it's a better indicator of where you should drill next. So we've got some exciting new targets there. We're really happy to follow up on it. We'll be doing that this summer.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, just to, I guess, wrap things up, because this is our sort of final question for you, but just give us a sense. I mean, you've mentioned, what you have coming up this summer at Margarita, but otherwise, what are the main catalysts investors can expect to see from you over the course of the year?
Well, we're drilling at Santa Cecilia right now, so I think that those potential catalysts are in play already. Drilling is the most thing that can make the biggest fundamental creation of value for any junior mining company. Obviously, drilling is is the main event of what we do. So there's the Santa Cecilia. I'm very positive. I think that's going to have hopefully a very positive impact on our capitalization. I think we're going to go into, as soon as that's done, those results will be off in the lab. We're going to move our crew down to Margarita while the winter has its way with our Santa Cecilia project. Then we'll drill at Margarita until when winter abates up. Then we go back up to Santa Cecilia, and we'll continue drilling there until next May. So I think you're going to see active drilling out of the company from now until for about 14 months from now.
Okay, fantastic. Shawn, well, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
Great. Well, thank you again. And thank you to all of our viewers for watching. And that concludes this video for Mining Journal. Goodbye.